everyone, Tiffany here with Crafty Home, and today I am doing a TBR Takedown 3.0 Bout of Books 15 wrap up. So I didn't do a TBR video because I wasn't feeling that great when it started, so I wasn't able to. You've probably seen the video before this one about how I'm dealing with a concussion or traumatic brain injury or something. So yeah. So anyway, so I decided to do Bout of Books, and then because I love Bout of Books, I try to do it every time. And my goal was going to be that I was going to try to get as far as I could in the Parasol Protectorate series. Solace I have read before, and I wanted to get more into the series. So, and I had just got them just before Christmas, so I wanted to do that. And then I saw that TBR Takedown was happening at the same time, and that it had challenges, and so I thought that would be fun. So let me read to you, because since I didn't do a TBR, let me read to you what the different challenges were and what books I had picked out for them, and then I'll tell you how I did. Which, well, you'll see. Alright, so first was read a book from your most recent book haul. Well, my most recent book haul would be my Christmas one, and that is where I got all of the rest of the Outlander series from my husband. And so, yeah, I wasn't going to pick one of those to read during a readathon. Not going to happen. Although, guess I probably should have just picked one, but I haven't finished Outlander yet. I'm almost done. Just a little bit left. So that was not going to happen. So then I was like, well, the one before that was when I got Solace and Changeless and all that. So I picked Solace for that one. And then number 2 was read a book on your TBR shelf over a year or the longest. And that's always hard for me because I have just a ton of books. And I remember how long or which one's been on there the longest. But this one's been on there a long time. So pretty sure this is the one I picked for that. So that was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, which I've heard is really good. So yeah, that one. Number 3, read a book outside of your comfort zone. I think that was this one. I picked Animal Farm by George Orwell. I don't read a lot of more classic books. So it's kind of out of my comfort zone. I read most anything, so that's really hard for me to answer, but that's just the way I went with that one. Number 4 was read a first book in a series, which Solace counts for that. Complete a series or read a sequel in a series. That would have been Changeless, which is the second book in the Parasol Protectorate series. And then read a fire-colored book, because those are the lucky colors for 2016. So for that one I picked The Rosie Project. Obviously it's very fire-colored. And then the 7th one was read a non-novel item, poem, verse, novella, short story, etc. So I picked The Curious Case of Benjamin Button by F. Scott Fitzgerald. As you can see, it's not very long. It's a short story, I think, just a short story. So yeah, those are the books I picked for my TBR. So let me tell you how it all went. I started out by reading Solace, which I had already started. And like I said, I've read it before, so I'm rereading it. For some reason, rereading it is taking me a long time, and I don't know why. It just is. It's taking me a long time. So I was like, okay, I need to read something else, because it's just like I'm not as motivated to read. So I picked up The Rosie Project because I really wanted to read that. And this is the one book that I actually finished during Bout of Books. These 3, We Were Liars, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and Animal Farm I didn't even touch. Well, I touched them and put them on my TBR, but that was it. Or Changeless. So yeah. But I did finish The Rosie Project. It was really good. I loved this book. I think I ended up giving it 4 to 5 stars. I have reviewed it on my blog. I'll try to remember to link that down below. Although these days I don't remember much of anything. It's really hard to do a readathon when a lot of times you just have to sit in your room and do nothing. So when I was having a hard time, I was listening to audiobooks. I'm listening to, still working my way through, As You Wish by, I can't remember his actual name, but it's Wesley. And it's actually read by him, and it has voices where some of the actors and producers and stuff read their parts. It's so good. If you're a Princess Bride fan and you haven't read that book, you need to, and I would suggest listening to the audiobook, because listening to him do it all is great. It's really, really good. Anyway, The Rosie Project. If you don't know about this book, it's about a man named Don Tillman who is very bright, genetics professor, but he's socially challenged, very awkward, and so he ends up creating something called the Wife Project, because there must be somebody out there for him, right? And he's never really made it past a first date, so it explains some of his first dates, and then you get to know more about him. He creates like this survey, and you hear about his friend, and then his friend decides to take over for him because the Wife Project is not working. And he's like, let me look through these people and pick some for you, because you're not going to find the perfect woman that meets all of these absurd questions. And so he takes over for him, and he sends somebody else's way who isn't on the list. And then they eventually fall in love. It's a really sweet story, because then Rosie, who's the one who ends up going to Dawn, that gets sent by his friend to him, she needs help finding who her biological father is, and so they start the Father Project. What do they call it? The Father Project, and so they spend time together through that. And it's just really, really sweet book. There's little twists and turns in it, and I really enjoy it. There's a second book now, which I really, really want to read. So yeah, the only thing I didn't like about this is some of the slams against Christianity. It wasn't as bad as some other books I've read, i.e. Ready Player One, but they were in there, and it just kind of bugged me a little bit. But other than that, it was really good, and it's the only reason I gave it 4. I'd probably give it more like 4.5, but Goodreads won't let me rate it that way. The reason I wanted to read this book so bad is because my husband is a lot like Dawn, not to the same extreme, but he is. And in this book, they never come outright and say it, but he's most likely has, Asperger's or autism of some sort, and I'm pretty sure my husband does too, a high functioning type. But anyway, so yeah, I could relate. Some of the things really made me laugh out loud, because my husband will frequently think overly logically about our relationship, and I've learned to deal with it, and he's the sweetest man alive. But anyway, it's just super cute, and I loved that part of the story. So the reason I finished that book, and then while I was finishing it up, we went to the library to pick up my book of the month. So since I've been gone, I don't think I've told you guys about that. I'll probably have to do a whole other video on that, but my library does a book of the month where you fill out a questionnaire, and then each month they give you a book to read. This month's book was An Ember in the Ashes, which I own, and it's been on my TBR for quite a while, so I'll finally get to that. That's what I'm going to read next. But while we were there, they had 1,000 pieces of you and 10,000 skies above you, and my bestie, my booktube bestie, Amy from Amy C Books, she was telling me about it. Well, she talks on her channel about how much she loves it, and so I was like, should I get it? Should I not get it? I actually started to get it, put it back, and then got it again before we left. So I did get it. And so I read almost all of 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray during the readathon. I didn't finish it. I think I finished it like the day afterwards. So everybody says how gorgeous the cover is, and like on video it translates pretty well, but until you can like see it, there's actual like buildings, like it's really cool. So anyway, this book is the first book in the Firebird series. I don't know if it's gonna be a trilogy, a series, where the main character Marguerite's parents are extremely brilliant professors and science people, physicists, I think, and she's not so much, but anyway, very eccentric family, and they have created this device that where you can travel to alternate dimensions. So basically the premise is that for every decision that could have been made, another like world is created based upon that decision, like the butterfly effect, except all all those things actually exist. And so they've found a way to travel through dimensions, but not through time, just through dimensions. Although some dimensions are like further in time and some dimensions aren't as further in time. This is totally turning into a book review. Anyway, it's just a wrap up, Tiffany. So anyway, they go through time because her dad, these are the things I'm going to do now that I have a concussion, say the wrong words, which I did a little before too, so nothing new. Anyway, he dies, sorry, no quotations, he dies. And so then she goes after the boy man that they think has killed him. Really, really, really good book. A lot of it is set in Russia, in a different dimension. Love Russia. I love reading historical fiction about Russia. I don't know why, I just do. I find it fascinating. So I loved that about this book. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. I think it's a little overhyped, but it was still really good. And so now I'm working on 10,000 Skies Above You. I haven't got very far yet because I'm also right at the end of Outlander, so I want to know everything that's going to happen in that book. So yeah. So that was my wrap up. I read 1 book. I finished 1 book and read parts of others. So if you did TBR Takedown or Bout of Books 15, let me know down below what you read, what you finished, how you did, and yeah. And if you did a wrap up, let me know and I'll try to go watch it. So yeah, until next time, I'll chat with y'all later. Bye!